Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! I'm not psycho! Wake up!
And welcome to another edition of the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. I'm Dougie Almeida, your host, here in Danger Studios, and through the magic of Zoom, I bring in two of my fellow comedian friends from South Florida, Mr. Ricky Cruz.
What's up, Dougie? Thanks for having me, bro.
And thankful to have our friend here from New York City, Mr. Mike Kaplan.
Thanks for having me. I love the name of the show.
Yes.
Wake Up Late. Like, it's, they took the Tonight Show, they took the Late Show, the morning, good morning, but you snuck right in. You found untarnished terrain. I really like it.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe the first time in my comedic life I ever have.
Look at that. And if you're waking up now 8 o'clock, this shit is real fucking late.
Well, that's why it's always relative. See, if you watch the morning, everybody in the morning, if it's late night, you know when late night is, more or less. But when it comes to waking up late, just all it means is I'm not getting up when you expect me to get up.
I got a companion show idea. How about a morning show, but from somebody who hasn't gone to bed yet? So just like somebody's up all night and then does an 8 o'clock show. They're like, oh God.
That's funny. Actually, the guy gets home from
That's a spin-off.
The guy pulls up in his car to his house, right? He's all beaten and tired. The sun's about to come up and stuff. And the guy grabs the newspaper, brings it into the studio and says, oh, let's see what happened today.
There you go.
You know
All-nighter with Mike Kaplan. There you go, man.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
We'll
just, what happened?
Yeah, we'll have it on the network. Well, welcome. I mean, obviously we're going through a lot of shit. But, the idea of the show basically is a lot of stuff happened. We like to talk about certain topics that are out there. And, and somehow we got to make it funny because everybody's killing themselves. I mean, you guys have Facebook, right? I mean, you see how people are treating each other. You see how families are treating each other. Hell, we got to find common ground. And the only way I know how to do it is when you laugh. So.
Honestly, I avoid Facebook. That's the one I avoid the most because I have the most family on there.
Yeah.
And then I have like one family member who's just crazy right wing. I don't care what you are. That's fine. Go ahead. But he's just like, he thinks tomorrow there's going to be a coup for the military.
Yeah.
He keeps sending me videos that Biden is not taking over. The military is poised in every city to take over every capital city, man. And so I have to avoid that shit, bro. No way.
Yeah, the hanger-ons, the hanger-oners, they're like, oh, dude, this is going to happen. The laptop they stole from Pelosi that day during the insurrection, what are we going to find out? She uses Botox. Any rate, so just glad you guys are here, man. And but here's the thing. One of the first topics is going to talk about people. Do we hate them or do we like them? Have we gotten to the point where you just kind of like don't like? You know what I mean? I'm not talking about your immediate family and people already that pre-pandemic. You're real good. Like we're talking to the people that you've been exposed to from the pandemic. Love them, hate them. What do you?
Ricky, do you want to?
For me, I like people, man. That's for one thing. I do like the people. Some are assholes, and you stay away from them. It's just fucking you pick and choose. Like you don't like a radio station, turn the dial. But I'm still a people person. I think even more so now that we're like locked up, and I'm only around like my people in my house. That when I see a stranger, it's like, "What's up, man? How you doing?" I'm like, I turn into that friendly Southerner. I don't know if you've ever been to the South, like Tennessee, where they're like too friendly. Like now I'm that guy. I'll just walk into a restaurant. Where are y'all from?
Yeah,
I want to meet people.
It's like you just got out of prison.
Yeah, there you go, man. So,
well, you got to applaud that. You know what I mean? You're okay with it. So if you're in a hotel and you're in an elevator going down to go to your show or something like that, and you get out of you're about to get out of the elevator, and these people that think it's their choice, they get to get in the elevator before you get off the elevator. Ricky Cruz is like, That's okay, guys. You probably didn't get the memo.
No, see, there's limits to my people personness. All right.
All right. Just wanted.
On the way to a show, I'm probably two in my head that I'm like, fuck people. All right.
Gotcha.
And after a show, I probably had enough of people that I don't want to deal with them. But out there in the wild, in my everyday life, I'm okay with them.
So if you approach Ricky Cruz in the wild, just try to feel him out first.
Yeah. Ask, hey, you got a set right now? You go somewhere? You got to do something?
If I may,
yes.
Number one, I love that answer, Ricky. I also like people. You're a person. I like you. I like what you said, Dougie. I like you. You're a person. So like all the people that are here, everyone involved in this. I like if you're watching wherever you are. I like you. I'm glad that you're doing that. I also like that, Ricky. You, when Dougie was like, but come on, there's got to be situations where you don't like a person. And then what you did there, you're like, oh, well, I like you, Dougie, so I'm going to agree with you. So I like that it's all based in, who's in front of you right now. And like right now, here we are. Like I'm living with my girlfriend. She's the person that I see the most. I like her. I love her. Sure, most people in the world haven't done anything to me. There's billions of, sure, you could name a few people that have cut you off in traffic or whatever they might have done, but there's 7.8 billion people that haven't cut me off in traffic. Yeah. And so I really like those people. I
like the way you just use the complexity of the numbers in that, right? All encompassing, like a big picture, right? So that makes all sense. Look, there's 7 billion people have not pissed me off. That that would probably, now this is where we're either optimistic or pessimistic. That would probably, if they met me, they'd be like, "Hey, how you doing? You want the falafel? Whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean? They're going to probably be nice because I still think that a lot more people are nice than they're.
Yes, they might offer you Chinese food or Indian food because most of them. The odds are that they're Chinese or Indian, more people in the world, just numerically speaking. But I mean, they could also, I'm not going to tell anyone that a Chinese person could offer you a falafel. An Indian person could also offer you a falafel. So I don't want to, tell anyone that they can't be who they are or what they want to do. And just everyone used to be a baby, right? Every person was a baby. And sure, some babies scream on a plane, and you might not like that baby. But most people were babies that never bothered me on a plane. So I'm for them.
Boy, the evidence is just mounting on this loving each other thing. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah. and to circle back, Dougie, on Mike's commentary. Okay, I wasn't pandering to Dougie's question. There are times when I don't like the people. I like them most of the times, but there are sometimes, let's say, going to a set, like I was saying, I don't want to deal with motherfuckers at that moment. So it's not because he was in front of me or prodding me for that answer. Yeah. It was just he reminded me of a moment.
Ricky, may I do you a kindness and say, because I like you, I think that right there what you were doing was being kind to yourself, because you like yourself. You're a person, and you're not going to let me put words in your mouth, are you? Is that what you're saying? I think you're saying that you're not going to let me put words in your mouth. Would you say?
I'll let you put something else in my mouth, probably.
Wait a second.
He's been home a long time, this guy. Absolutely. But don't no more putting words in mouths. But I think you're right. I do believe that. I give people the benefit. I've always said I trust people till they earn my distrust. That's how I work. I'm very simple through my personal interactions. Right, it has nothing to do with this and that. In a conversation with racism one time, somebody says, "You're right." I go, if I look back in all my interactions with human beings, as far back as I can remember, there are two groups of folks that I've always had the most fun with or never had an issue with or were always good people. Mexican people and black people. They are on the top of the list of people I met. Played soccer with the Mexican guys. You play soccer. It's the only team that you get to drink beer at halftime. It was amazing. You know what I mean? So just saying. It's all based on experience. Good. National decriminalization of drugs. I know. I don't want to go on a limb here, but I think we're all people who have done drugs or do drugs.
A couple, huh?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Last time we had you on the show, Mike, you were here in studio, and you mentioned your I always forget. Now, when I want to get just when that moment when you got to say the word, you can't say it, but you've been saying it. The mystic drug, the shaman drug, the
ayahuasca.
You've actually
yes.
tried that. Have you ever tried ayahuasca, Ricky?
I have not. I got some mushrooms sitting in my sock drawer. They've been there for like 2 months. Somebody gave them to me. And they're supposed to be really good. I just can't find the right time to do them because like mushrooms is like a time-consuming thing, which I imagine the ayahuasca is as well. So I gotta find a moment where I can dabble in the hallucinogenics.
I like the idea that you're like, I got these mushrooms in my sock drawer. I have not washed my socks, so that's how they've been growing there for the past 2 months.
Possibly.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a racket right there, man.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, to zoom out to the question you asked, Dougie, I feel like legalization makes so much sense, or decriminalization, like I don't know the exact terminology logistically, but one of the biggest concerns that people often, I feel like, are like, how do you even know what's in the thing? How do you know if it's not laced? How do you know where it's coming from? I'm like, well, get the FDA involved, the Food and it's right in there, Drug Administration, like get them to have the scientists or the farmers or whoever's creating it and growing it, let us know what's in it and look at the research that's been done about how therapeutic psilocybin mushrooms have been and ayahuasca has been, for example. It seems like it could help.
Well, I would venture into this bit of fact gathering that the dispensary weed that I have partaken in has always been far better than anything I've gotten from a friend. You know what I mean? Right? I mean, you think I've never smoked dispensary weed and went, who brought this?
Yeah, no, that's got to be top quality shit. But I'm always wondering, Mike's got some good points there. Like some drugs, is there any benefits to them? Like, I mean, is crack on that list? Is methamphetamine on that list? Like, is that a thing we want out there legally? Is there a way to make that better? Is that like top shelf meth?
I certainly am not an expert in this. I do know that, like in the 80s when the crack epidemic was sort of at its, I think,
highest.
Peak, yeah, there were, people were like, I think mostly black people of color were going to jail for crack at much higher rates than like white people who were going to jail for cocaine. And so like that is a problem because cocaine and crack are very like I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but I think that they're pretty close. And I've never done either of them. I seem like I might be on one of them right now. And often I don't even drink caffeine, but like I'm a fan of the things that more like you sit and go inward, as opposed to the other things that are possible. But I do think that it's like the way that in Italy and like in a lot of Europe, I believe like kids drink wine. Like your parent will give you wine when you're 3, 4, 5, 6, and like so it's demystified, and so you're not like a teenager sneaking around and then drinking and driving and getting into all kinds of like shenanigans and violence potentially, and like hurting yourself and hurting other people. So I feel like if we were like, yeah, eventually, absolutely, when you're old enough, you can do meth. Like, here, try a little meth, and then you try it, and you're like, I don't actually like this.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Mike's idea is like, okay, bring your friends over for a sleepover. I'm going to cook up some meth. You guys can just do a little bit. You're only going to do a little bit.
As long as you're doing meth, if you're going to do meth, I'd just rather you do it in the house. That's all I think.
We're going to make it healthy.
We're going to make it right here in the Easy Bake Oven.
Yeah, we're going to make it easy. I'm going to give you dental floss with it. So it's a little bit of a good care package. I think Ricky makes a point too. I almost feel like it's almost a natural selection thing, thinning out the herd. Like if you decriminalize drugs, right? And you'd have to take certain things like crack. You have to take certain things. Listen, because from being somebody who just a lot of recreational crack users. You know what I mean? Like I know friends that do coke, and to this day. Actually, one just passed away a couple weeks ago. But they encompassed it in their life. Like on the weekend, they always have it. You're like, this isn't like just like a stage you're going through in South Beach. This is like this is your weekend. This is your thing. And that to me was one of those that were easy to quit. Cocaine. It was like, this is fun. And after a while, I'm like, man, I got enough shit to be depressed about. You know what I mean? Can't be doing this anymore. But
Yeah, man. And listen, and I'm all for the decriminalization of the weed, like, making it legal. I'm all for that. But some of those things, like you're saying, they'll get their hooks in you, man. You try it once, hey, have a good time, and that shit's fucking on you now. You can't get rid of it.
Well, that's what I mean. There's a lot of good things about it, right? Well, it's cleaner, it's purer, and you know who's taking it, you know what you're doing. Hopefully there's to be some money from its development to help the people who get hooked, like gambling. Casinos have to donate so much money to to people that help Gamblers Anonymous and actually help with the treatment of people. So if these drug dealers, legal drug dealers, are going to have to come up and fund the people who get strung out. But that's the thing. And the real question is, going 100 years ahead, if you did do this, and you kind of you weeded out the low hanging fruit.
Weed it out.
Yeah, you weed it out. I mean, it's just, this is better than just say no to drugs. But just weed out the fucking the low, the not so good people, the people that are going to go there and get them fucked up all the time and jump off a building. Well, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Can you imagine the line Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, no. Please continue.
I was going to say, could you imagine the line at CVS Pharmacy and they got cocaine in that bitch?
Yeah, I think it's funny because I think right now, a couple things, like when there was prohibition of alcohol, like there were some people that were still drinking and they were like, then they brought it back because there was demand for it. I feel like right now we're in prohibition for all drugs that are illegal. There are people that want to do them, that are doing them. I think like maybe now that like weed is legal places, there's some people that are like, oh, maybe it is safe, and it is. But I feel like if cocaine becomes legal, my mom's not going to do it. Like if crack becomes legal, like it's not going to, I don't think there's going to be a huge rush on the people that already have ideas about what it is. And then there could be greater education, there could be greater treatment. And the only other thing I want to say is, like, to answer the question yes or no, like it's obviously not such a simple yes or no answer. Decriminalize or not decriminalize? Like when I say, if I had to say one or the other, yes, decriminalize. But then the answer is like, oh, so are you saying that you want a baby to do heroin? I'm like, no. I'm not saying mandatory. I'm saying that people should do research before doing drugs, whether on the individual basis or on a massive societal scale.
any massive life decision at that. We're not going to tell you what to do with your body, but just do us all a favor. Think about it. Review all your options, and then once you make a decision, you live with it and don't complain to us if you're not happy with the decision you made. Very good, fellas.
Yeah, man. Hey, but to put a bow on this before you go on to the next topic, criminals are always going to be criminals. So if drugs are legal, what the fuck are they going to do now? They're going to have to find some new shit to do.
Yeah.
What are some hustles that these criminals are going to be doing now? Because drugs out of the game.
That's a good concept.
I think
that's a good idea. What would this is a funny bit. Like, what would drug addict criminals do if you can go to CVS and get cocaine? What are the drug dealers? What are they going to do? They're going to bring back break dancing.
I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. Human trafficking is going to be up through the roof, bro. Something's going to be. They're going to do something.
I gotta say, Ricky, I really like you, and I think this is a fun show, and we're all having a great time. But I don't think that it's just that criminals, once you take away one of their illegal things, are going to be like, well, now I have to start murdering. And what are you going to do if what if everything is legal? People are just going to...
They need a hustle.
I do think that a lot of illegal activity happens, like, let's say, theft, happens because not because maybe some people love the rush. You got your Winona Riders for whatever reason. Like there are rich people who become kleptomaniacs,
Gloria
but
Marcos.
That's not most people. Most people who are stealing are doing because they don't have stuff like that. Yeah. And so if people had stuff, they're not gonna be like, okay, now how do I get? Oh, no, I have it right here. Okay, I'm all set.
You mind if I dissect a little bit of that belief? Sometimes people who steal stuff they want that they think they deserve.
I accept.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's when you're greedy. I don't mind. I don't mind if some kid cousin steals a banana, from the or apple from the cart, and then the nice guy here take a couple of your family,
Oh yeah. Well, and I heard that during the pandemic, like shoplifting at grocery stores has increased because there are people who are not working as much. There are people who don't have as much money as needed, especially at the lower end of the class hierarchy. And so that makes sense. And there's like people catching people at grocery stores being like, what do I do? Because I want people not to steal our food, but also I understand why people are trying to steal food. And so I do think that that's most of it, like most of it's not Ocean's 11. Let's try and steal, this casino from a millionaire.
That definitely takes skill. It definitely does.
They do deserve it if you can do that. Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about being censored, lack of freedom of speech. As a comedian, people have been asking me, how do I feel about everything that's been happening? I had a background in law, where I was supposed to go to law school and supposed to go to Georgetown Law and NYU. And I had professors that were molding me to become this incredible trial lawyer. So I enjoyed that topic of freedom of speech and being able to lose it is always interesting. So, without getting into just what happened recently, but are you guys fearful of that in a sense? Do you think we're being like even before that, right? We've had this issue in comedy where there was some political correctness in which you couldn't do, and people got in trouble for saying certain things. It's kind of been tightened up, right? It's kind of been tightened up a little bit over the last several years. Any thoughts on this topic of being censored or canceled?
I have lots of thoughts, but Ricky, if you want to go first.
Sure, because I don't have that many, so I'll let you get to yours after. I mean, listen, we all need freedom of speech, and I think in our line of work, I've never been censored on stage. We can say whatever we want, and then the crowd will let us know, if they dig it or not. And as performers, we can say we don't give a shit what you think, which we usually do, and keep on going. Like I've never had a club come and tell me, "Hey, you can't do that bit no more. It's not appropriate." I never had. No kind of cancel situation in my life. I'm not a really big comic, but I've never been canceled in any way. I think it's important that we protect our freedom of speech, and that's pretty much it, man. Mike, go say all your shit.
That was perfect. So here's a thing. My friend Luisa Diaz is a comedy producer and a podcaster. And earlier, I think in like 2019, she posted a post on Instagram that I just found and pulled up. I can send it to you guys, but it's headlines, newspaper articles from 1958, 1945, 1957, 1960, and 1915. The headlines are we killing laughter? Audiences too thin-skinned nowadays, comedian claims. Thoughtless, funny men. Like, should Charlie Chaplin's comedies be banned? Comedy taboo debate. So the idea that this is anything new is, I think, demonstrably false. Like, Lenny Bruce and Carlin literally went to jail for the things that they said. That is censorship. That's the definition. Right. The government not only saying you can't say something, not telling people to not go to your shows, not boycotting you, which is capitalism. That's the free market. If you say something and then somebody doesn't want to buy your product or hire you, that's capitalism at work. If the government makes it so that you can't do it and imprisons you or fines you or in other way, like that is something to be fearful of. But thankfully, since the days of, I haven't heard of anybody in America going to jail or being punished by anything other than market forces. And I'm not saying that social media mobs are great. There's a great book by John Ronson called So You've Been Publicly Shamed. There are definitely overreactions, like where people might say something like, but also in comedy, Kevin Hart, didn't get to host the Oscars, and maybe he wanted to host the Oscars, and because he tweeted things that certainly seemed homophobic 10 years ago, doesn't seem like from the things I've seen more recently, he's not he certainly isn't saying the same homophobic things that he said 10 years ago now. And also, he's still Kevin Hart, and he's still a millionaire, and his fans are his fans. And I don't think, other than him not getting to host the Oscars, nobody has a First Amendment right to host the Oscars. That's the thing. He can say whatever he wants, and he does. And I think your point, Ricky, is a good one. I've also never been told that you get to do like a corporate gig. Like the worst that happens is they're like, hey, don't swear. You do like a show at a church. They're like, can you keep the topics? Or if I'm at a college, like, again, that's not censorship. That's like people are hiring you and they're like, we'd love for you to like know that this is what we want, and maybe we won't hire you again if you don't live up to the agreement that you make. And if you don't want to agree to it, then don't take the gig. So I'm not like, I've heard a lot of comedians saying out loud, we can't say anything anymore. And I'm like, well, you're saying that, and you can, and Bill Burr and Chappelle are getting, like Chappelle's getting an Emmy every year for the last several years, or a Grammy at least, for the last several years, talking about all the times that people don't like the things that he says, which is exactly how free speech works. It's not like the comedian's First Amendment. I have a right to say whatever I want, and then nobody can say anything back to it, or blog about it, or tell people that they don't like the things that I'm saying. Like it's kind of funny to me if somebody is seriously saying that their free speech right now is being threatened.
Well, at least comedians, because because especially, I mean, we get a lot, like you said, like it's funny when you have those moments. There's certainly like, all right, maybe this. I'm at the Zanies in downtown Chicago, and the crowds are weird. The crowd one year is a little one way, the other way. So like you said, you got to adapt. And I told one particular joke, and the crowd just didn't like it because it's a little bit of a. Let's say they're more of a liberal crowd. I don't guess you could say it. So they didn't think the joke was as funny as I thought and others before. So I sat there for a second. I go, oh, that's right. We're in downtown Chicago. Aren't we aware that hate crime didn't happen? You know what I mean? And then it was kind of funny. Like, all right, let's laugh. Like, you know what I mean? And even then, it's a decision. Do I tell this joke? But I think as a comic, I felt like saying it. I really wasn't care if people in the audience were going to like it or not. I found it funny in my mind. That's why I said it. And I got to deal with the slings and arrows or whatever that comes from it. My freedom of being able to say that is what you're saying, Mike. My freedom of being able to say that also comes with the freedom of dealing with the consequences of the things I say.
Exactly. That with the thing from physics, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Like, we, as a comedian, you want a reaction, and part of being a comedian is learning when you say certain things, what reactions you do and don't get. Imagine a comedian on stage tells a joke, the audience doesn't laugh, and they're like, you guys are censoring me by not laughing. Hey, stop canceling me by not laughing at me. You must laugh at me because otherwise freedom of speech doesn't work.
That's actually a funny bit. Somebody should do that. Somebody should get out there and tell terrible jokes.
I'm working on it.
Just go out there, terrible jokes. You guys don't know how this works. I'm supposed to say these things, and you're supposed to laugh. You people are horrible. That's fucking.
It is funny. Like every once in a while, I feel like I've seen a comedian, and I've probably done this myself. If you do have a joke that works 90% of the time, 99% of the time, and then you come to an audience that they don't laugh at it, and in a weak moment, we might be like, they liked it 2 hours ago. They liked it last night. They liked it in this town. They like it most of the time, and yet I don't know that I've ever found that effective to tell an audience about all the other audiences that like the joke.
Sure, bro.
I can prove to you that you should have liked it.
You should keep a recording. Listen, this was the last show, and you play it. You tell the joke, and everybody laughs. Then you look at the people and go, so you people are fucked up, man. That's fucking hilarious. Isn't that funny though? When you're telling the joke, you're even in the setup or through it, you're feeling you get, oh, this may not go well, and then some part of you is like, maybe I should bail on it, and then you're like, no, I'm going to keep going with it, and you keep going with it, and then you get this reaction, and it's like, I'm not just like the funny. I'm talking about the jokes that you normally just, that you have to wait for a little bit for the laughter to stop, and you're just sitting there, and you're like, what went wrong? It's like a pole vaulter.
That goes back to when you're doing half of this shit we're doing for ourselves too, like that joke you're talking about, that shit, I know this joke's going to work. And as you're doing it, you feel it not working, and you got to commit to it anyway, because when you wrote that joke originally, you're like, this shit makes me laugh. I'm going to do it. I don't give a shit. So you're doing it for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, Ronnie Spector died. That guy with the weird hair.
Was it Phil Spector that died?
Oh, Phil
think it was
Spector.
Phil
Yeah,
Spector.
Ronnie Spector was in the
Who's
song.
Ronnie Spector, bro?
She was with the song
Ronnie,
with.
I believe, was Phil's wife at one point.
Yeah, I think she'd backup vocals with Eddie Money.
It sounds like a guard for the Knicks. Ronnie Spector coming to the free throw line.
He got 3 fouls, and he plays out of Kentucky. Ronnie Spector. Did I say the same thing twice?
Oh, yeah.
Phil
Veronica
Spector.
Yvette
Phil Spector,
Spector was part of the Ronettes and was connected to Phil Spector, I think, eventually.
Yeah.
And that's how she got the name Spector.
Well, there you go. But he was a music producer and a murderer, and got away with it. And he's dead. So
This is not the dude who he didn't bang the little girl, did he? He wasn't cute. Bang the little girls.
That was the
That was
writer.
Polanski?
Yeah, it's
That was
Roman
Roman
Polanski.
Polanski?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm glad
Spector
you
just killed somebody.
I'm glad you said that because when it all came up again, my brain from all the smoke and from the dispensary phase, it was like, was this the guy with the funny hair? Or was this the perv? I couldn't remember.
So who did Spector kill?
She was an actress. I'm trying to remember her name, but he killed an actress, and he tried to claim that she committed suicide, and he was found guilty, and then I believe he left the country. He went to England or something.
That's always a good move to prove your innocence.
Yeah, I'm out of here, bitch. He got out. But that's where Roman Polanski did the same thing, right? He went to, does he go to Rome or where did he go?
I don't know, but I think he hot tub with some 13-year-old, and then he fled the country.
Yeah, and Woody Allen said, I think you should get out of here. Anyway, I want to give a final on the sporting side of the show. I want to give a big thumbs up to Mr. Tom Brady, who I say he gets the, you know what, go fuck yourself award to everybody because he leaves the team. He says, how could you, he's going to leave the Patriots, the greatest team, one of the greatest coaches. And look what he did. And look what he's doing. I love.
You see what Tom Brady played with? Dougie, did you see what he played with most of his years in New England? He had guys that looked like me and Mike Kaplan at wide receiver, bro. Okay, he had the bottom of the basement players. He was making those guys win Super Bowls, bro. That whole team was Tom Brady, man.
Yeah.
I can't believe he left, but shit, I'm glad he did. Come to Florida.
Absolutely. My wife was like, why are you rooting for the Tampa Bay? I'm like, because it's Brady. I want to see this guy kick ass. I like to see Belichick all puss faced and like, oh, he's all, that fucking cheater. And you like to see on the athlete side, I like to see a guy who, he's going to Tampa Bay, and then and then they showed that video of him and Gronkowski walking, doom, 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 and everybody said, oh shit, he's got Bronk back. And
yeah, man. Hey, make no doubt about it. And Belichick's a great coach because to make that work with those, JV players and Tom Brady, you got to be a good coach. So, now Tom Brady's over there at Tampa Bay with bona fide studs.
I'd like to on the subject of bona fide studs, and I'm not as much knowledgeable about sports as you are, but that you did say that he got Bronk back, and I just want to let you know that I love the movie that Tom Brady did with I believe Heath Ledger, Bronk Back Mountain. That's my contribution to this conversation. Yeah,
that's a different huddle, dude.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
That's a different.
I think they're similar, actually.
That's a different handoff situation.
It's just men being close to one another. I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady's definitely a bottom in that situation right there.
You think Tom Brady would be a bottom? Then Heath
with
Ledger?
Gronkowski?
Okay. I thought you meant with Heath Ledger.
No, I'm saying he's like Gronkowski with Gronkowski.
Would it be different? Would it be different if it was Tom Brady and Heath Ledger who's the bottom?
I think Heath Ledger is so versatile. He don't care where he's at.
Yeah. Okay.
I think this conversation says more about all of us than them.
Yeah, well, that's the idea.
That's fine. We're open.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I like it.
Yeah. He mentioned that last time you were on the show, you were in an open relationship. Are you still in an open relationship?
I'm not. I'm in a monogamous relationship it'll be 5 years and a little bit later this year. And it did begin as a relation, as every relationship kind of begins on a spectrum of openness, when you go from dating one person or multiple people to if you want to be monogamous. But my girlfriend and I, we met in 2016, and I was in a different open relationship at the time. And then that relationship ended, and and this one eventually continued, and it's great. I'm a big fan of this particular. I've never really been. I was married monogamously in my 20s, and I stopped doing that. I don't know if sometimes you hear about open relationships not working. Right. And you're like, oh, yeah, open relationships, they don't work. But you only hear about them when they stop working. And it's very rare to hear about it in the other direction, like, monogamous relationship ended, monogamy never works. But that's what I did. I ended my monogamous marriage, and I was like, yeah, I guess monogamy is not for me. So I was on a journey for a long time, but I was like, oh, I guess maybe with the right person, a relationship can work. And so this one is really working out, and I like it a lot.
Well, there you go. I always say open relationships they're always last until they're over. I mean, because and they usually do. I mean, I haven't been in many, but I've been in, and I'm not in the state at this moment to have any open relationships because I'm going to get the short end of the fucking stick. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, it's not like we're going to meet couples and people say, "Who's going to bang the fat guy?" I'm like, "Come on, man! I'm giving you my wife." And I don't want to
Well, see, is that open relationship? That's not like the same as swingers, right? That's a different situation altogether.
I would say.
Like, what's the game plan with open relationship?
Ricky, if I may, I would say that open relationship is an umbrella term that includes swinging, that includes polyamory, which might be having different full-on relationships with other people. That also includes like threesomes. Like you're not just monogamous with your partner, but maybe just you and your partner have a threesome with somebody once in a while. And it could be just like a triad, a closed, like that's another way that I guess maybe you wouldn't consider it an open relationship if you're just three people together in a closed relationship. So there's all different manners, but I guess what's the end game of any of this? The end game is we die. So what do we want to do and with whom while we're alive? Like every relationship lasts until it doesn't.
I just want to shoot as much nuts as I can. That's all I'm hoping at this point. I just want to fucking. Actually, I'm not. I'm at that point. I'm married. I don't have 3 kids, but I'm at that point where I worry about other things before that. That's when you're getting old. When you actually wake up and you're not thinking of that. You're thinking of a bunch of other things on your list than just that. And Ricky,
I would say, I'm 42 now, and I definitely have a different relationship to this topic, to sex, to relationships, a different relationship to relationships. That's fun. Than I did when I was 25, 30, 35 even. And I feel like when you're younger, and it's also not just based on age, there's plenty of people like with high libidos in nursing homes. There's like plenty of STDs being spread there from what I've heard. But I don't have any direct experience. It wasn't me. But I think when I was younger, I was like afraid of getting to a point where like, oh no, what if later I won't feel the way that I do now? And now I'm like, oh, like, however I'm feeling now, I can be at peace with. I can hopefully accept and embrace and work through if it's challenging.
It's growing on me. This not having sex every week is growing on me. It's all right. It's like it's like cleaning the garage. I don't want to do that every day either. Well, good. And you were awful quiet through there, Ricky. You were just sitting there
because I'm still thinking about this open relationship. That shit sounds fun. I've been married 17 years, bro. In a traditional wedding, I'm trying to figure out how can I get my wife to go for this open shit.
But
I don't know if I dig it on her end. Like on my side, I can see that being cool. But if my wife comes home on a Tuesday, hey, I'm gonna go fuck my Kaplan tonight. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Oh no, I don't either. I think I'm in, as mentioned previously, a monogamous relationship. Yeah. But I think the answer to your question is in what you just said. It's like, how do I get to do something? I offer my wife the fair, egalitarian opportunity for her to also do something, to have this discussion. So yeah, it might not be for you.
How many people go, like you said, how many people think they can do it? And then once they're involved in it, they're like, oh, this isn't going to happen. You know what I mean? I've been in that situation, with another girl, and there was this, with my girl, and she was like, and she was worrying about her boyfriend, and then, so it's, and plus the emotions get in it. Like with my ex-girlfriend, bisexual women were like they were trying to push me out. You know what I mean? They were trying to win her. They were trying to bring her into their tribe. You know what I mean? Let's get rid of the man completely. You know, we don't want him around anymore. So they were trying doing stuff, coming over. You know, I'm supposed to have a date night with my girl. We were my girl on Saturday, and next thing you know, the girls came and picked me up, and we're all at the bar drinking and, you know, licking cocaine off each other's tits. Oh, God. You know what I mean? So sometimes that happens, too. And you don't want, it's not like you got to worry about stage time, you know, getting raises, you know, getting health insurance. You don't have to be worried about lesbians stealing your girl.
And also, I mean, every situation is its own like individual one where like there's some people that might really be like, hey, go out and lick cocaine off of other women's body parts and then come home and tell me about it. And that's what there's some people who really want that. And there's some people who might want it. And you just have to have, similar to like the literal libido, like some people might want to have sex more. Some people might want to have sex less. If you get together with that person, you love that person, you work out what is a good agreement between the two of you where hopefully you're both as happy as you can be with the arrangement.
You're exactly right. This is capitalistic country. If you, like, I remember a friend of mine, he wanted to sleep with strippers. He really did. But we realized that he didn't doing was sitting out in the parking lot waiting all night, finding out they already left the building. Anyway, so that was fun, guys. We dealt with our topics now.
There you go. What you got?
Time for the news is a joke. I've painstakingly gone through news I've seen all over this world, and I came up with these stories, fellas. And I think we can make them funny. I think we got the firepower here. You guys you're familiar with Bitcoin, but
for sure.
A man who says he threw away a hard drive loaded with 7,500 Bitcoin. And back in 2013, is offering his city $70 million to help him dig it up because it's in a big waste facility.
This was in London, right? He's offering the London Waste Management $70 million. And what'd they say? They told him go fuck yourself.
They gave him a shovel and a dustbin.
I mean, is he gonna pay in advance or just when they get and sell the Bitcoin?
Well, this is kind of like when you try to hire a lawyer. Like, if we don't win you money, we collect nothing. You know what I mean? So a lot of people are used to that idea. Like, no, let's go look for it. Let's spend $70 million trying to find it. I mean, if we don't find it, I thought it was there. But if we do find it, and hopefully the Bitcoin doesn't go from $40 a share or $40,000 a share to $1,000 a share, then I'm going to have to owe you some money.
I'm not familiar with how Bitcoin works, but like he threw away the hard drive. So that's like the wallet where the Bitcoin was in. He didn't have this anywhere else. There's nowhere else to access this fake money, like in a cloud or some other place.
Bitcoin doesn't have world. Bitcoin. It doesn't have like a password like you have on your phone. It's a multi-level encrypted password that you have that goes to the blockchain where it finds that unlocks the origination of where those coins are stored. So
you need that hard drive. You can't. You could transfer it maybe to a different hard drive, but you need. It's legit. Like if you lost cash at the dump, you like, oh no, I threw out my literal wallet. Be like, can we go to the dump? Like, if we find my wallet, I'll pay you with the cash. And your question, I understand it, but it's almost like asking like, didn't you have like a record of what that cash was and where, like, did you take pictures of the cash? You know, like, can you prove to people that you did once have that cash?
Yeah. But he actually...
How about this? It'd be fun. It'd be funny as shit. Okay. So it's only in that hard drive. How about if they got like 70 people around the city dump and they said, all right, whoever finds this shit, it's yours. And they line them all up like the Oklahoma Sooners when they're going for land and shit. They shoot a gun off. You got a bunch of dudes with metal detectors. Find that shit, it's fucking yours. That could be, and we could film that shit, and you got a whole show right there.
Ooh, that could be where the funding comes from.
Searching for the Bitcoin.
That's right. That would be a great TV show.
There you go, bro.
Yeah, it's just like Bend It Like Beckham, at least syllable-wise.
It's like
searching for Bitcoin.
It's like a combination of that old job, the worst job, the hardest job. Remember that one guy used to have dirty jobs?
Dirty Jobs, yeah.
Dirty Jobs, and then and then Survivor. because the people are gonna.
Or like Oak Island treasure hunters. These motherfuckers
Are these guys still fucking looking? I've never
They
seen.
are. They spent more money than they're gonna find in that goddamn island.
I've never seen somebody get so happy to find a polished up bottle cap. I mean, I think it's a coin. No, it's a fucking Budweiser lid, you dipshit. I just saw that at a news show. I'm like, these guys didn't find shit. Now they're going to try to find something somewhere else.
Yeah, some other shit.
Well, it seems like that, ironically, they've found treasure in creating these shows. They're like, this is a real money. What's the opposite of a money pit? Money.
It's almost like those paranormal shows. Remember, they're starting to get big where they're trying to, and then the guy holding the camera goes, "Oh, what was that?" And everybody's like, "Oh, you're at home." "Oh, I didn't see shit." Meanwhile, it was nothing. The guy just trying to spark up something. I didn't see nothing. But thank God we didn't fall for that trap. Mm-hmm. But good luck with that guy, because 7,500 Bitcoin around today is almost just short of $300 million.
That's crazy, bro.
So,
but there's no verdict yet. The city dump hasn't allowed him to do this yet, right? We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I've had moments like that. Like, I've been at a strip club and I accidentally gave a girl 100 instead of a 1. I don't know if you guys ever did something like that. That's painful.
I one time when I was at Sunday school growing up at my synagogue, I had my collection of Garbage Pail Kids in a shoebox, and I accidentally left it there. And then I came back next week, and it was all gone. It was packed with hundreds of cards. So I think that's similar.
Yeah, I mean, you for a moment there, you think you can go back in time.
Oh yeah,
right? Your mind starts telling you, I think if I can somehow rethink this, or I can go back and get it.
Just don't do what you did do. Just have the past be different. Yeah.
Next time it feels familiar, I'll do it differently.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to just skip to the bottom of the story. I didn't read it all the way, but Howells is at least not alone. A lot of people, other people have done the same thing. The cost of digging up the landfill, storing and treating the waste could run into the millions without any guarantee, like you said, without somebody funding it. If you get a venture capitalist to go really question this guy to make sure, like you said, verify he owned it, verify the computer, what he had, and and then somebody funds it.
Oh man,
I'll go to the A10, buddy. I'll be right
I like
back.
my idea, man. Just get 100 people. Just get 100 people on the edge of the landfill. And have them race
it's
for it,
like,
bro.
you know what it's like is I feel like my mom's generation, like there's all these stories of people finding like the first Superman comic book, the first Spider-Man comic book, like that so many people's parents and grandparents threw away their, if everybody hadn't thrown it away, then it wouldn't be as rare.
Right.
And it wouldn't be a big because so many people threw them away. They're like, wow. And so then in the 90s when I was I kept every comic book and they're worthless. I kept I've got it pristine. I've got every version of it. I've paid so much money for things that also everyone else did. So I'd love for the story, if it's a fictional story, write this movie. If it doesn't happen in real life, but a guy at the end of it, they find the Bitcoin, but also everyone around the world also found their thrown out hidden Bitcoins. And then the price of Bitcoin. They're like, you broke even.
Yeah.
You got your hard drive back. Yeah.
But there's a picture of
you. The fun was in the friends we made along the way, wasn't it? Who now want to be paid for their labor.
And then the guy realizes there's a picture of him with a 5-year-old boy in there. Oops. This did not work out the way I hoped. This was an amazing story. Police say Oregon man stole a car with a child in the backseat and then came back and lectured the mom for being a bad parent. See, when I came up with the topic of do you hate people or do you like people, I just got done pulling this story and I thought, this is typical of what we're seeing. I've got people who just got fired from Uber trying to explain to me global finance, and I'm a 31-year veteran in finance as a licensed fiduciary, and the guy's arguing with me over a stock or some shit. I'm like, dude, I get it. You got Robinhood on your phone, okay? I get it. You started looking at stocks, but I've been doing this for 31 years, And this guy steals the car, fucking takes the car, turns around and goes, how dare she? How could she be so irresponsible and leaving the kid in the back?
I like this guy. I think it's good that he didn't murder the kid, keep the kid. Like, this is, if you after you've stolen a car and find that there's a kid in the back, he was the most responsible person in this story. The mother leaves the kid in the car, leaves the door unlocked, I think it said. She's just running in for a minute, but he's doing a great service demonstrating, like those, like, to Catch Me If You Can style, like, companies hire somebody to be like, try to get through our firewalls, do what you can. Like, her firewalls were nothing. Like, I'm not saying she's bad. Like, she's just struggling. Like, just like, I got so little time, out of time to take the kid out of the seat, put the kid back in the seat. Most of the time she does that, it's fine. Nobody steals the car with the kid in it. Like, everybody's just doing their best.
Well, let me give you. I'm glad you put people in such high places. As I said, I do as well. But let me potentially add to the hypothetical that she left the kid in the car because she went in to steal food that she didn't remember. Okay, I'm throwing in so now she's going to steal food because
now you're adding layers to the cake.
I'm just saying the judgment. So, either way, so what she did was she left the child in the car. For what reason, purpose, we don't know. There's a million potential reasons the kid could have been left in the car. Why did that guy steal the car?
Oh, that's a fine question. I don't think he should have done that. I'm not advocating that.
So he's a little, out of line.
Well, he stole the car because it goes back because he needed a car, needed some money. Now,
he needed to sell it for food.
When he returned the kid, did he steal the car again, or he just said,
I believe he did.
Yes.
I think, he gave her the kid and left with the car.
Yeah.
And my favorite part of the story, I really like this. He threatened to call the police on her.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. No, that can't be true, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
He did.
Bro.
Yeah.
I mean, it's her accounting of it, I believe.
Yeah, he actually lectured. He actually lectured the mother for leaving the child in the car. Threatened to call the police on her. Beaverton police spokesman told the news. The thief ordered the mom to take the child before driving off in the stolen car.
Here's an analogy. It's like the mother. I think this is the reason that maybe I'm holding the mother to a higher standard. I'm like, you're a mother. Your job as a mother is to care for your child, is to make sure that your child is safe and protected and healthy. Like, and so but here's the thing, going back to what you said, Ricky, if criminals are criminals, I'm like, why are we expecting, like, the thing that this criminal did is honorable. Like, this is the most honorable, thoughtful criminal, potentially putting himself at risk for being caught. Coming back to, doesn't know if the police are even going to be there, but he's like, the most important right thing I can do. He's an honorable criminal, and she was at least a distracted mother in the moment.
I like that. I buy that because number one, right? Like the car is insured, right? You can always get another car. Can't always get another kid. Well, unless you're Ricky.
Get a bunch.
They come like dozens.
No, it's funny. Didn't they just, like, Oregon's the state where they decriminalized all the drugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this guy feels like, I can't do nothing fucking wrong, okay?
Oh yeah, like, maybe he's one of your guys who's like, I previously was just doing the illegal thing of drugs, but now that my illegal thing isn't legal, I gotta up it to stealing stuff.
There you go. I gotta boost cars now.
I think that's what happened, and that's why he brought the kid back, because he didn't want the kid to get exposed to mushrooms. He's like, look, I would take you back, but I'm not a perv. I'm a good guy. And you know what? I think in the big picture, if more criminals were a little more conscientious, right? And a little more caring and compassionate, then perhaps the crimes on humanity would not be that bad.
And here's my additional pitch is maybe because they were decriminalizing so many different things now, he's like, I'm sorry, I got confused. I thought they decriminalized stealing cars. Like, I thought it was like a purge day, but just for stealing cars.
Yeah. I always wanted to be a valet parker, but I never got hired, so I just thought I'd practice on my own. This is a great story.
How come nobody grabbed this guy? Nobody grabbed this guy on the way back in?
You're in Portland. Nobody gives a shit. Everybody's so fucking high. When's the last time you were in Portland, dude?
Never.
Dude.
My favorite city.
First of all, Portland and Oregon, one of the most beautiful states. Drive through. I got a chance to do a couple gigs a few times, and driving there onto the West Coast and going back and forth. Beautiful. But I just remember driving, and I'm like, what? Why are so many people camping on every state highway? There are people, homeless, young people, not, just living out on the highway. Like you see tents and tents and tents. I mean, if you're going to live somewhere, you live on the highway in this beautiful country,
It's again, I'm not an expert, and I think that, people not having homes, if it's not their choice to be, like home free, and if you're houseless under duress, there's a lot of systemic problems in the country. But given the system that we have, like, it does make sense that people would want to live outside somewhere that it's like temperate weather, like sort of all year round. Like, you don't have to worry about like the West Coast, the Northwest, like that's, and maybe they like, that there's places open late with vegan food. That's a thing that I like about Portland.
Yeah. And everybody has weed in Oregon, by the way, or an edible. You can get edibles and weed anywhere in Oregon. If you're doing a comedy show, you will give somebody will give you an edible after the show. Here's a story. In Mexico, women take the front lines as vigilantes. This is hot. A whole town of Mexican women have just took it upon themselves. We don't need no stinking men.
I saw the movie on Netflix. This was a movie, man, where they take over the mining town, all women. What was it called? God's Country or some shit like that. So this happened in Mexico.
It's also, sadly, the idea of them saying we don't need no stinking men. The unfortunate reality is, I think in the article it said that men have been kidnapped and murdered in such high volume that it's sort of like the way that when men in this country went to war in World War II,
right.
And then they were like, well, Rosie the Riveter, women are stepping up to take the jobs because men are not here doing them. Like, women are becoming vigilantes because they're the only ones left in volume.
There you go.
That's it. I mean, it's you had to go back to the prehistoric days. Even like there's a guy, the caveman would go get the food and go hunting, and she would sit there, and do carvings and help the fire. And then one time, the caveman steps into a bucket of lava. He's like, I can't walk. And then the chick says, well, I got to go hunt now. And then some other woman sees her and goes, hey, I can't believe that. I want to hunt like her. And the other caveman's, no, because he's not as open-minded as the other caveman who just lost his foot.
Lava foot. Yeah.
Lava foot. He lost his lava foot. So it was in El Terrero, Mexico, birthplace. Like you said, it's that they kept getting kidnapped. They kept getting, the people keep coming, taking it. Mexico's a shit. Listen, Mexican people, fantastic. But, dude, I would never want to live there.
There are certainly.
Okay, I didn't do my homework. I'm sorry. So, what were they on the front lines of?
Their own town. They're protecting their town.
What are they defending?
Their town. They're putting roadblocks up and entering their town. From
who? Who do they from like the
other drug lords from other towns, other drug cartels.
Get the fuck out of here!
Yeah.
But have you seen what those drug cartels do to people? They fucking chop their head off and they write their whole name in blood on the wall. No, man, I'm not believing this story.
Well, that happened to too many people, and
I'll read it after.
For the people that it didn't happen to, they're like, we have to do something.
They're stepping up. Some of them are pregnant.
I'm glad they're stepping up, but I find it hard. They're gonna put maybe they'll put up a small fight, But I guess the cartel.
I think the cartel enjoys it. I don't think the cartel probably, some of the cartels like, oh, leave the ladies alone, let them, if we really need their shit, we'll go. Because some of them are pregnant, half of them are pregnant, and there's no men left in the town, so somebody's going over there and putting the chorizo in there.
I'm sure the cartel was laughing like you're saying, bro, look at the girls. They got guns. Pew, pew, pew.
Hay que ver con esta mujer.
Don't shoot me.
Ricky, I've got to say, I think that's the best impression I've ever seen of a drug cartel.
That's spot on.
It was kind of like the Three Amigos, from that scene. A little bit of Scarface. Hey, you know, guapo. Very fucking great movie, by the way. Touching story. This is interesting. In Colombia, speaking of Colombian cartels, Colombia is rapidly breeding cocaine hippos. That's what I used to call myself when I was a male stripper.
Nice.
Rapidly breeding cocaine hippos must be stopped because hippos are not from Colombia; they're from Africa.
What's a cocaine hippo?
Well,
Like a drug mule? Was he?
Chavez, not Hugo Chavez. He was the leader of Venezuela. Who's the one guy? Pablo Escobar. He had his own zoo.
Pets.
Yeah, he had like his own zoo there. And what turned out to be 2 or 4 hippos has turned into about a couple hundred. And they're usually the hippos in Africa. There's only so much water, so they could only reach a certain level of population. But in Colombia, a lot of water, a lot of food.
They love it,
and they love it. And they're just multiplying.
What's the problem?
Well, dude, have you ever been like maybe taking a swim? Imagine you go out back in your house, you're taking a swim in your lake, and then all of a sudden you realize there's a hippo in there. It just took a big old shit. And hippo shit isn't just like, it's fertilizer. It's toxic.
Also, they are the most dangerous. Like, they kill the most people in Africa for land mammals. Like, they kill more people than lions. And, they are... You don't want to be in front of them or behind them. A thing I learned, I went to the San Diego Zoo about 10 years ago, and there was a fan of mine worked there, and he was like in charge of the hippos. And I love hippos. They're really cool. And I learned these things about them. Number one, they sweat a substance that acts as sunscreen. We don't do that. They sweat, and it protects them from the sun. They are retromingent, meaning they pee backwards. That like when they pee, it goes behind them. And when they poop, they wave their tail around, they spin it around to disperse it. So you don't want to be, they'll eat you, they'll bite you if you're in front of them, and they'll give you a different kind of trouble if you're behind them. So it makes sense that people want them to not be there as much as they are.
Yeah, don't sneak up on a moose or a hippo. Sorry.
Either way.
Either one.
So
either
kind of
one.
like we have alligators down here in
them,
Florida.
What's that?
So we have alligators down here in Florida. Like, that's our problem. In Colombia, they got these hippos.
Yeah, but again, I've never stood behind an alligator and worried about it shitting all over me. Okay, that's just disgusting.
I'm not worried about hippo shit either. I'm worried about the damn teeth, bro, and the mouth. The shit I can deal with.
Oh yeah, they eat marbles. So what are they gonna do to us?
Yeah,
the in the game hungry hippos.
Oh yeah, that's great. They're beasts.
That sort of an homage to you guys know one of Mike Birbiglia's earliest jokes about his misconception about hippos was that he thought they were marblevores.
Oh God, bro.
Also, I really do like to call them moose as a nickname for hippopotamus.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Thank you for finding why I kept it. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. We used to hunt snakes here in Florida when I was young, and I almost got bitten by an alligator. We're actually fishing, and I dropped the the Wonder Bread fell to the side of the bankment, so I went down there to get it, and fucking alligator almost jumped right out of the water and grabbed me.
Wow!
But I had cat-like reflexes back when I was 12, unlike now, because I would have been late to the show if it happened recently. Yeah, so those are the contaminated COVID-19 in it. First they put it in the bats, and now it's in the fucking ice cream.
Now it's a flavor of ice cream. That's fantastic.
New from Wuhan, Baskin 33.
Look at that. The new fucking ice cream shop, Cold Stone Crematorium.
Woohoo, no smell.
Ricky, this is a serious topic, and that is a funny joke.
I'm sorry. It's ice cream flavor COVID. Come on, let's do a bunch of names here.
It doesn't matter what the flavor it is. You can't taste it.
Respiratory Road. Let's do it.
Yeah, I would say if I found out that there was COVID in the ice cream, I'd be more like Hagen doesn't.
Yeah. No one wants to try. During the routine government testing, recently 3 samples from the Northern China Ice Cream Company came back positive for COVID-19. It wasn't wearing a mask.
It's a real rocky road for them.
Yes. The ice cream was not wearing a mask. Oh, that's what it comes. You put a scoop on it and you put a mask over it.
Put a mask on. Oh, you serve it inside a mask.
Yeah. You just get it in there.
They just put it on your face.
All right, let's skip through. That's enough of that goddamn story. Here we go. Smokers prioritized for COVID-19. This is an interesting, in New Jersey, which is always an interesting state.
That's where I grew up.
Yeah. That's what I was hoping you could help because,
Sure.
It's, again, a very interesting state, New Jersey. Because being originally from New York, there's this thing, New York and New Jersey. People say, you don't like people from New Jersey? I go, I don't have any problem with people from New Jersey. I mean, there's people I met from Jersey that did me wrong. I didn't like them. Getting back to the early part of the show, but for the most part, I don't have any pride. Family and friends in Jersey.
You like Bon Jovi. You like Bruce Springsteen.
Not that big.
You like the Jersey Shore. You like The Sopranos.
Yeah, I guess Sopranos would kick me over the side of that.
You like, I don't mean the Jersey Shore, the TV show. I mean the actual boardwalk beach area.
It's kind of a shithole, but...
Yeah, you're right. You like Chris Gethard, wonderful comedian from New Jersey.
Mm-hmm. A lot of friends that lived there. Bob Levy, those guys.
I got no problem with Jersey. I grew up in Long Island. My grandmother lived in Union City. We'd go there every Sunday.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, this story is fascinating. My parents were teachers growing up, and I was always told not to smoke, and I've never smoked cigarettes, and it's really fascinating. I'm sorry, you didn't even say what the story was.
That's all right, because Ricky has not done his homework like a good Spanish boy.
No.
And here in New Jersey, the New Jersey Health Association, the health department, thought that the risk, because everybody getting the vaccine, give it to people 65 and older. The first people on, the doctors, the nurses,
essential workers, first responders,
and
people at risk,
people at
high risk.
So they had to decide who should go first. Should it be people who smoke because their health is in high risk by their choice, or should we give it to teachers? What do you think? What do you think's the probably more appropriate person to give it to?
Listen, obviously, it's the teachers, bro. Being married to a teacher, so I'm going to say teachers. But like you said, smokers, that was their choice to smoke the cigarette and fuck the lungs up, Like, I smoked weed for years, it's my choice. Teachers, they're doing a service to society. You got to get them vaccinated. Why? So we can get the kids back in school and have more functioning society again. The smokers, what benefit are we going to get as a group of people having them vaccinated before teachers?
We're gonna give them a life-saving vaccine, and then they're gonna smoke 5 packs of fucking marbles when they get home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what happens, man.
It's an amazing story. People are standing up in the groups, and then state-wise, listen, Ricky and I live in Florida. You're in New York. Through this whole pandemic thing, people are being judged. They're doing it wrong. This governor doesn't know what they're doing. Shutdowns and all this shit, and everybody's moving to Florida. I mean, I'm selling my house. I'm watching. I'm like telling my wife, let's hold off for a little bit because the prices just keep going like this. Everybody's coming here, man. Why? Because we're open.
We're open.
You know what I mean? And our numbers aren't any worse than anybody else.
Are they not?
No. I mean, you're going to compare us to Wyoming or somebody, but any type of major city, they're no different. Everybody had their own surges and shit. But, you know what I mean? Like, look at California. I mean, everybody in California, they've been in a lockdown forever, and their numbers are atrocious. I think everybody, like we're saying earlier, you tell somebody not to do something, they're going to do it. But if you let people go out and kind of do their own thing, most of the people are going to be responsible, but you're still going to get those dumbasses like we have in the news every week. Somebody, I'm not going to wear a fucking mask.
Listen, so not to get off topic, but so did Jersey decide who's going to get the shot first?
They did.
Did they make the final thing on that?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, in the article, it seems like they made the assessment that all people at risk, even if it was from smoking, would be given in the category of people at risk who would go before teachers.
Like anybody who had cancer, chronic kidney disease, COPD, Down syndrome, heart conditions, obesity.
Those are all natural things, not brought upon by doing it from a choice.
Yeah, smoking is on the list, and type 2 diabetes as well.
So you got to do. So all those teachers got to start smoking fucking cigarettes.
Right.
That's I don't think that could be how it works. Just you show up with a cigarette. Like, it has to be based on your actual health records. You have to see how your lungs are. That would be a. If you're a teacher and a smoker, that's what you want. That's what you want.
Come with a fucking apple.
Both.
You can't show up with yellow teeth.
Can I also? I just looked up. Apparently, the CDC says that in Florida right now, for the new variant, the faster moving one, there's 46 cases in Florida, and then only 122 in the rest of the country. Possibly because so many people are coming to Florida from other places. But I just want to say, be careful, everyone, because you are potentially more at risk for this newer thing.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely a lot of cases here. But they don't just care. They don't care.
I think what happens here is that's the thing. They get it, and then it's we may the more cases, the quicker we get to herd immunity. And some people are not going to make it. You know what I mean? I mean I've had it. I mean we people ask me about the vaccine. I'm not going to take it. I don't feel at high risk at this point. I've already had it, so I'm not going to worry about getting it.
There are some people who've gotten it twice. Have you seen?
Yeah, but as a number, since you're very keen on looking at numbers,
sure.
How they extrapolate, it's infinitesimal, fractional and infinitesimal of a
that
number,
makes sense.
Where it's not. It's like 1 in every 2 million people, 10 million people may get it twice, and let's hope not. I can see us in a couple weeks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I hope the best for you.
Thank you, buddy.
I hope everyone is as healthy and alive as possible moving forward.
Well, that was why after I had it, I was like, I'm going on the road for fucking 3 months. I'm not going to, what I mean? I felt like Superman. Am I going to catch it? I get on a plane. Hey, buddy, how you doing? This story is the story regard. I want to tell that. This isn't the story. Well, there was a story of they have these stories of the people arguing, right? The lady in Delray got thrown out of a Starbucks because she went in without the mask, right? And listen, wear the fucking, bottom line, just wear a fucking mask. You're not hurt. It's not a big deal. Don't give me this shit about the government telling you what to, in a sense. But I'm also going to be the person that if I'm in a store, and this has already happened, and somebody's in there without a mask, I'm not going to sit there and risk my life having an argument with them over it and endangering my own life to make a point. I just, like you said, I change the channel. I get the fuck out of the way. I find a different space. You know what I mean? I'm not here to edify and judge humanity. I'm only here to make sure I can keep my sense of smell and not be that fractional infinitesimal number that catches it again. Right?
Yeah, I'm not the mask police, man. If you're not wearing your mask, I'm just moving. I'm going to go somewhere else. And
That's it. Deal with it, man. I mean, exactly.
Can I say also just on the subject, I saw good news today I don't know if it was from today, I saw it today in the New York Times about the vaccine. Just for people who are interested, it is, which is like the same or better than the chicken pox of like 32,000 people who took the vaccine, either one of the Moderna or Pfizer. Only one person out of 32,000 got a severe case. So numbers-wise, I was very heartened to see that. And like the article is basically like, people have been downplaying it, being like, look, these dangers exist. It's not 100% perfect, but it's like pretty close to 100%. So if you're on the fence about the vaccine because of the numbers, like you're probably right that it's not a risk for you once you've had a case, based on the science that we've seen so far. But for everybody else, if you haven't had it, the vaccine can definitely help you. Yeah,
I would. And, we were talking to other comics on the show that if you've never had it, and if it means getting hired, if all of a sudden a casino says, all of a sudden you find out that you've been vaccinated, then you don't have to worry about the quarantine aspects and any of the liabilities, yada, yada, yada for the club. You would. You know what I mean? You can get on a plane. Imagine if airlines gave you a discount, you know what I mean? If you had the vaccine or, that kind of thing. Would you take it?
Yeah, like for car insurance where, you take a defensive driving class and you prove that you are less of a risk, then you pay less money. It makes a lot of sense.
There you go. Or you let the government, I remember when they put those things, insurance companies will give you that little thing to put in the car. So it measures everything you do and how you drive and how many miles you drive, how fast you go, how often you hit the brakes. And depending on when you give it back to them, they can see what kind of fucking crazy person you are behind the wheel.
Huh.
It's like
I didn't even know about that. That sounds great.
Yeah. Well, it's like down here in Florida.
That's like an all-state discount, right?
Yeah. If you don't have an accident for 4 years, we'll take your down payment down 10%.
Don't mess with my discount. There you go.
Don't mess with my discount. Well, fellas, that's all we have time for here on the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. It's been a lot of fun having you guys on today. I want to thank Mike Kaplan and, of course, Ricky Cruz for joining us here on the Wake Up Late with Dougie show.
Thank you.
Awesome, man. Thank you, man. Good to see you, Doug. Good to see you, Mike.
And you guys stay in touch because we will start booking shows again down here. We had one planned from Isla Morada, but they got a little nervous and kiboshed it our first show, so we'll get it back there. Tavolino's looking to open back up and stuff. So stay tuned for shows, everybody. You got anything coming up, Mike?
I'm doing mainly online shows. So if you follow me online, at Mike Kaplan, spelled the weird way I do it, MyQKaplan. I do a bunch. You can, wherever you are, you can see many shows that I do. And I put out podcasts every week. One's called The Faucet and one's called Broccoli and Ice Cream. And my newest album came out last year during the pandemic called AKA, recorded a year earlier. So grateful that got out there. But yeah, the album's AKA, and everything else you can find through my name by searching it online.
There you go. Ricky?
Just search me up. Go to my Instagram. That's where I post everything I'm doing. I do have some shows coming up at the Miami Improv. Just go to @Ricky Cruz Comedy, and I'll let you know what dates those are going to be. And check out my podcast, please. It's called The Bathroom Wall. You can catch that on Spotify, iTunes, and the Helium Podcast Network. I think it's Helium Podcast, heliumpresents.com/podcast. That's also every week. Tons of fun.
There you go. Well, thanks, guys, for joining us. We're going to have some, we got shows lined up coming up, and I'm excited. I'm going to be on the road a bit. Go to DougieAlmeida.com for more dates. Going to be all over the place, even though I don't have antibodies anymore. I hope I have them. But anyway, guys, thanks again for joining us. God bless. Stay well. Stay safe. And we'll see you out there on the road. Back
All
to
right, guys, man.
You got it. Back to the studio to my producer, Chris.
What's up, boys?
All right. Well, let's close the show. And I want to go eat another piece of pork chop.
Life could be worse. You guys have a great night.
Take care, everybody.
Later, guys. I got to get some pizza.
Wake up! I'm not psycho! Wake up.
Wake up.